Gracias. All right, let's do this. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Andres Diaz. This is the Marvel Plus Spoil Talk. This is the Spoil Talk of WandaVision that premiered this Friday with this two episodes. And today, me and my co-host Will Allen, we're going to discuss this. Hello, Will. How you doing?
Hey Andres, yeah, I'm doing all right. How about you?
Ugh, doing good. I'm happy
Good.
it's 2021. I'm happy we
Yes.
got Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
So, sorry. You want to say something?
No, just that I'm happy 2020 is over. Uh,
Yes.
it's been hard. Not that 2021 has been easy so far, but
Mm,
still.
yes. It's crazy. So, yeah. Oh, hello, folks. Me and Will, are gonna start doing this like. So our plan is we're gonna review every single episode of WandaVision when it comes out at Friday. Of course, we're gonna do this in the weekend, so we have time to watch these episodes. And Will, let's start initially. So, what do you think about this show? What's the best thing about this show? And uh, what's the worst thing about the show? Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I loved this show. My favorite thing is just how like weird it is. Like it's so far outside of Marvel's like formula.
Mm,
Um, it's just oh man, it's delightfully different. Um, just everything about like how well they've managed to recreate the feel of like a 1960s sitcom in these first two episodes. It's just I was smiling the whole time watching it, um, and like I get that it's not going to be for everybody. Like I know
mm.
the reactions I've seen online so far have been kind of mixed, but it definitely speaks to like my tastes and my interests. So yeah.
Wow. Wow, I'm surprised. I am the same page with you. I agree.
Mhm.
Uh, of course, 2020, we didn't have any MCU related content so far. And so I was very excited to see this film, especially because I really like the characters of Scarlet Witch and Vision from the
Mhm.
movies.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and I was very excited about this premise of the show. And of course, folks, if you know, we're in a group called Marvel Plus Facebook group, and I made the kind of like a small summary of what I thought about the two episodes we saw, and I compare it to Legion, the FX show that started the X-Men character David Heller, played by Dan Stevens. I feel like it had the same vibe of that, so I was already hooked on the show. I agree with you what you say about the show. Will it's very weird. It's
Mhm.
just nothing we haven't yet seen with the MCU at the last 11 years, basically.
Mhm.
Um, and I was just like the production values are amazing. Like
Right.
you're right. It captured what a sitcom was back then,
Mhm.
and we'll get into like some of the criticisms that I think people are talking about. Like the big one was the leg. I I
Mhm.
think they're doing that intentionally because of like how many hours the sitcoms were back then.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's
Like the average sitcom episode was like 25 minutes, so it
mhm.
makes sense that the episodes are 20 to 30 minutes long.
Yeah, and when we go through the series for the whole month, each episode will probably grow longer and longer as we respect from these shows. So
Mhm.
we're going to that phase of the progression of the hours of these sitcoms or like television has become as of late. So that's if they're going to do that, that's actually one of the most impressive creative decisions that the MCU has done, and that's crazy. um, and so I guess let's kind of get into like characters. Well, I mean, I just love the performances from Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany, especially Paul Bettany. I think this is his best performance he has ever done. I just love Vision in this show. It's amazing.
Yeah. I like how they've kind of like turned him into a bit of a cartoon character. Like
Mm.
uh, Vision in the films is obviously very like robotic, uh, but he has more of like emotion and like um, more of like an emotional affect to his voice and his facial expressions here.
Mm.
Um,
Yes.
and I'm waiting to see if that's just like a reflection of if it's just like how Wanda knew him or like perceived
Mm.
his like personality, if it's just like a reflection of her psyche.
Yes. I guess like the wonderful thing is we're like so folks like right now we don't know what's really going on in the show. Like how is first off like Vision was killed in Avengers Infinity War.
Mhm.
And so this is kind of interesting. See him back, you know, probably alive, or maybe just it's maybe like a projection that Wanda is doing in this like bubble into this another reality that she probably created. So there's a lot of questions that the show is presenting, um, and especially characters that we saw in the first two episodes. Like I was shocked to see what was it in episode two we saw Veronica Rambone in that episode. I was very surprised about that, and um, so I'm excited to see um, where she's going to be heading. Especially we know her next like appearance will be in Captain Marvel 2, and then I forgot who's the neighbor that talks to
Catherine
Wanda.
Hahn.
Yes, and I'm very curious about this character because a lot of people are speculating that she's like Agnes from the comics, and so I wonder how she plays into this role. Like, is she controlling Wanda by using these like reality, um, like dimension to have her be under her control, and using
Mm-hmm.
Vision as a way to maybe get what she wants. There's a lot of just unanswered questions we have for these first two episodes, but it
Mm-hmm.
but I love about this show is it doesn't do those kind of like a good example that's the Arrowverse. Like they always like Flash and Arrow does those like mystery twists. I
Mm-hmm.
like we're not at like answering okay, how is Vision's back? Or why we're in this reality of in this 1950s and 60s sitcom, and then all of a sudden towards the end of episode two we're heading into probably the color TV era of 60s and then into the 70s. Like I like it just gonna show us here's the show. We're gonna give you hints of what's going on. Um, yeah, it's um, very that I appreciate about the show. It doesn't. It's trusting me and the audience. Like we're gonna give you your answers soon, but not right now, and
Right.
that
Yeah.
I'm very happy about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think my favorite part of the show is like when they give you those clues
Mm,
as to like the bigger mystery surrounding it. Um, and just the way it's done where it'll break from like the normal like filming structure of a sitcom
yes.
and get a little more cinematic and just deeply weird. Um,
Yeah.
it's yeah. Um,
Which one is your
and
favorite for those commercials?
oh,
Curious.
yeah, the commercials too. I liked the Stark Industries toaster from the first
Yes.
episode. Um, I liked how the light on the toaster was like red when it was blinking, and it was like getting faster
Wow.
because like in her origin, right, she mentioned a bomb, like a Stark Industries bomb landing in her house and then like not going off, and that's how she and her brother like survived Civil
Yes.
War.
Age
Uh,
of Ultron.
no, and I meant like the
Oh, the
Sokovian Civil
Discovery War.
War
Yeah, yeah. I'm
in their
sorry. Yeah,
background. Yeah. Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought about that.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a.
A
It
cool
was just
nod.
like reminiscent of a Stark Industries bomb.
Oh,
Uh, it's
that's
cool.
true.
Yeah.
Oh, good question. You know the calendar. They pointing out the 23rd of August.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if you know that, but that's a reference to when Vision in the comics was gone, and that date was when he was rebuilt again in that
Oh,
particular issue of the Avengers. That was what reference for.
cool. Okay.
Yeah, and so that's why the 23rd of August is very important, and like it's
Hmm.
a little nod to what Vision is going to be in this series. Because
Right.
yeah, I guess there's other references that the show has presented, like oh, Sword. We got
Hmm.
Sword in this show.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that, Will?
Yeah. I forget because I haven't seen these movies since they were in theaters. But
Oh
did
yes.
they reveal Sword in either Captain Marvel or um, Spider-Man: Far From Home?
um Spider-Man from Home. Captain Marvel just like with the announcement of the Investor Day of Disney Plus,
Hmm.
we know we have Secret Invasion, so we know
Right.
that Nick Fury is working with the Scrolls, and
Right.
then
Well,
oh sorry, so go
yeah.
ahead.
Has Sword appeared yet, though? Like,
No,
okay.
this is going to be the official one
Okay.
now.
Yeah, we just had hints to it. Like, I know Nick
Yeah,
Fury was like on a spaceship at the end of Far From Home, and everyone
yeah,
just assumed that it was Sword. But
yeah. Well, and I guess that's the thing we need to discuss, because we know that Agent Jimmy Woo, of course played by Randall Park,
hmm.
is coming back to the series, and of course Kat Dennings' character Darcy is coming as well,
Hmm.
and then of course Veronica is also connected to Sword, right? I don't think that's connected. I think this is a Earthbound like Sword. This is not connected to Nick Fury. I think
Okay.
because, and I mean, this is just I right now. This is speculate
Hmm.
because if 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 we knew Sword was coming, like we could easily have a clear reference of Sword, like having a logo in that ship, what we saw in Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Hmm.
But so right now, I just don't think, because I cannot see like this version of Nick Fury starring Sword. So I feel like that's more in the Earth side of them,
Okay.
because what happened with Avengers Endgame and Civil War. So, but this is speculation, folks. So like, we're in a new territory. This is the first MCU content we have, and so this is what I speculate what Sword is going to be in this show. So yeah. And then what else? I guess there was another reference that the show did. Um, Anything that stood out to you? Oh, Wanda covering Vision's boss. That was a clear
Hmm.
reference to Age of Ultron one, what she did to Tony Stark.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so that one was very cool. Uh, what else? I have it right here. I'm just thinking what other references they did, because
Hmm.
the Strucker
Yeah,
watch. That's
yeah.
another
That
one that
was
was very
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Um,
So I
uh,
wonder if like all of the ads are related to like parts of her backstory.
well, yeah.
We'll have to see
Let's
when
see.
more episodes come out.
Yeah. Um, Other one. Oh, there there was in the credits we can see like a helmet and
Yeah, yeah.
you, what's your theory on that? Because there's one that I have.
Well, it just looks like her helmet from the comics, her little
Oh,
like tiara thing.
Fury. Well, some people are speculating that's Galactus or Green Reaper.
Okay.
That could be a reference for that.
Yeah.
This is the like TV like opening credits. You see.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh,
You're
the
not.
opening credit. I thought
Yeah.
you meant the
No,
end credits. Yeah,
no,
no, I
not the
definitely
end credits.
noticed in the second episode with uh the Bewitched style opening that there was
Yes.
like a weird um like hexagon around the moon.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
Um, by the way, I love the end credits. Those are cool.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Oh my god, I'm so excited for Wanda's helmet because
Hmm.
I was just I'm just disappointed with the Wanda costume, and I just wanted to have her comic accurate costume.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
I really
um,
liked how they did her costume in Age of Ultron.
yeah,
It was a good like
yeah,
modernization of it, but
I like that costume. I just wish they carried that to Civil War, but like
mm,
it got changed, and I
yeah,
didn't like that. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, what else? Old. And well, probably one last like reference that, of
Hmm.
course, folks, everyone's been speculating. Um, how you say it? The wine has the M that's so like noticeable, and of course that is a little nod to the House of M
Hmm.
of the storyline of Wanda like saying no more mutants and creating this alternate reality of like mutants being like the superior like um group instead of the humans. Like
Hmm.
that was a little nod when we see the wine pouring during Wanda fixing the dinner for their guests. And then the bee, the beekeeper that came out from the sewers in episode 2.
Yeah, yeah.
um there was one reference from a site that they mentioned that was kind of interesting, and you think that could be a possible villain for AIM coming back? Like,
Maybe.
you know,
Yeah, the suit does look kind of similar.
yeah, well,
Uh,
like, folks, if you know, AIM is the tech organization that is associated with Iron Man, and they're famous for the, like, little cone, like, kind of suits you see in the comics,
hmm.
and that's what people kind of speculate, but
Yeah,
right now it could be like a Legion thing. Like this is just like a weird image that kind of relates to like the like thematical themes of the show, maybe.
yeah.
So
I have a feeling we're gonna get like answers for all of that and like weird stuff in the later episodes,
mm,
like that or like even just like smaller stuff, like how they kept repeating the phrase "for the children" in unison in the second
yes,
episode.
yes,
Yeah, I have a feeling that like all of that's going to come back later, and then watching these two episodes with the context of the fuller series is going to be like very interesting.
yes, and especially like like you and me, Will,
Hmm.
we're so formed with the comics. Of course, that could be a hint of Wanda's children being like a major
Right.
factor
Yeah.
in
Well,
it.
she was pregnant at the end of episode 2, so
Yes, of
it's
course.
definitely coming.
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I guess my question is, I was talking to my friend, and I didn't spoil her. Like, do you think the trim will be real, or it's gonna be like the comics where Wanda's gonna like correct them in a projection way? Like, what do you think about that?
I think it'll be both. Like it'll be like a projection, but
Mm,
they will
okay.
be real, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
that's
I have a feeling that like my current theory is that whoever's doing this to Wanda is trying to get her to create the children,
ooh,
and
that's
that's
cool.
why they're like repeating for the children, and there's like an obsession with her having kids, which obviously is also just like completely normal for the 1960s to ask a
Yes,
woman when she's having children. But yeah.
yes, yeah. That's true. Oh man, a lot of layers to that.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's gonna be good, like a good plot point. I my theory is like, yeah, I kind of agree with the churn, the like oneness churn will gonna be astral projection,
Okay.
like the comics, and or if they're gonna do like a major twist that she is actually pregnant in reality,
Hmm.
and that she doesn't know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
just
like I don't know. Like that's the thing. Like I'm surprised we're already like I was surprised by episode 2 that we're already going into the pregnant stuff. Like
yeah,
I you think it was gonna be like I don't know, like episode 4 or 5 we'll get to that point.
yeah.
But
Well, I guess it depends on how long we're gonna be in the like sitcom part of the show.
mm, good point.
If each episode is a decade, and it was supposed to be like the 50s and 60s for the first two, then there's 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. There's four more of those. But there's uh, 9 episodes total,
Yeah,
so we'd still have 3 episodes of
yeah.
like,
Of
yeah,
of the show. Yeah. Um yeah, I'm curious. And if they're gonna follow like the changing of hours of each sitcom from the decades. Of
yeah.
course, these episodes were going to be slowly longer, to reflect on the time of the change of you know of TV hours, and
Mhm.
streaming as well. Of course, that's going to be maybe the last thing they're going to do is comment on the streaming service.
Maybe,
Maybe.
yeah.
But yeah. What else we do have to mention? Was there anything particular? Oh, okay, the August 23rd is referring to Avengers 238. That's the issue that Vision comes back trying to reactivate from the Avengers. So that's the one I was talking about. And then let's. You mentioned Kathleen Hen. So what do you think about? You think Angus is going to be the major antagonist of the show?
Um, yeah, I'm not sure yet.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
yeah. uh, I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to be someone like behind the scenes who
Mm,
we haven't seen yet.
that's true. Um, I mean, there's a couple people been throwing like what's the other villain? The demon one? Miss Vissel?
Visto?
Yes, he could be another. He could be the actual villain, and
Maybe.
like yeah, and Amphex is helping him maybe
Maybe.
like control Wanda or get the Trillion as we've been talking about. So yeah, so let's now we discussed kind of like a little bit the references they made the show. Um, so let's. I mean, we did talk about performances, but like, uh, we think we. So what do you think these 2 episodes did for you to kind of make you okay? I like the show. What, what was the hook that made you happy the most? Well,
Um, I mean, I think it's like just the way it was like produced, where they like went all in on making it look like an older sitcom.
yes,
Um, where like even the special effects were what would have been available to them in the
at that time,
60s. Yeah.
yeah,
And I think that makes it even more effective when there's like a weird moment, like in the first episode when Vision's boss starts choking,
yes,
um, and they like break away from that format, and there's like actual special effects as he like gets the food out of his throat.
yes, like
Um,
phrasing through as you see
yeah,
him do a couple of times in the movies. Yeah,
yeah. Um,
yeah,
like I love that. I love the like air of mystery about it, about like what's actually going on.
yes.
Um,
Um,
yeah,
what else? I like how the jokes are funny. Like,
they feel like actual like like this could be an episode of a sitcom from that era.
yes,
It's not like it's not parodying it. It's like
no,
just
no,
recreating it, which
yes,
I like a lot.
yeah,
It feels genuine instead of kind of like cynical and
No,
distanced.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the thing that is very impressive. This show, they did really good care on what was allowed in network television back then.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
The little joke in the second episode about them having two beds in their bedroom.
yes,
That
that
was
was
good.
like that was very joke, and oh my god, and that was my favorite moment from Paul Danity's performance as Vision. Like he was
Mm.
just like scared, and oh my god, that was
Yeah.
too funny. My other favorite joke from episode one, you mentioned like the times,
Hmm.
like Wanda wearing that little like you know like like skimpy dress, like
Yeah.
to make the mood light, but like at that time that could be like risky, and I just
Right.
love
Right.
that's the moment that reference Age of Ultron, what she did to Tony, like covering
Hmm.
the boss eyes, and that was my favorite moment from that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then one of my favorite, I think this is where I love the show, is when Vision was trying to distract them by singing what was it, like,
Yakety yak.
yes,
Yeah.
and using the aluminum guitar. It was
The
so,
ukulele. Yeah.
yes, the ukulele, thank you. Oh my god, I love that. And
Yeah. Oh man, during that scene, I was just thinking like when Paul Bettany joined this franchise, it was probably just like his agent called him up. It was like, "Hey, do you want to do voiceover work for this superhero movie?"
yeah,
And he was just like, "Yeah, sure."
I
And
know.
then, like, cut to 13 years later,
He's now like,
and he's like playing the ukulele like in a 1950s esque like sitcom.
oh my
It's
god.
such a weird role,
Yeah,
and
I
I'm just like
know.
so happy that it's evolved this way.
Yes, I just loved I mean, yes, it's just crazy. The revolution for Paul Bettany in the MCU is incredible.
Hmm.
And he's an amazing actor. I love
Yes,
him.
yes, yes.
And I love him as Jarvis. And when they made Jarvis into Vision in Age of Ultron, it was incredible. And
Mhm.
I was sad what happened to him in Infinity War, and so I was very happy we got him back. And I I'm excited to get him back in a way in the comics and see where we can do with like do more with Vision. And
Mhm.
these two episodes made me really appreciate him as a character and an actor as well.
Mhm.
Oh my god. Oh, and just last quick with the joke. I love he was saying was the Oma farm and with the boss wife, and then the the boss didn't reply. That was
Yep.
a funny one.
Yep.
Oh my god. Um. What else? I like the the other one was the oh I guess the teasing of Sore in these last
Hmm.
two episodes were very interesting. Like the first episode, it was very intriguing seeing this like female person writing down the notebook. Do you think
Hmm.
that could be Dorsey or could be Agnes doing that? What do you
Yeah,
think?
I don't know. I don't know yet.
Like I'm very intrigued
Hmm.
what's gonna happen. Um yeah. I guess let's kind of wrap up things and
Okay.
like this is the first two episodes and not a whole lot has given us, but like it gave us like what we're gonna do with the show, and I like that.
Right.
And I'm very excited, and they gave us clues of what's maybe happening, and it's just I'm very happy we got MCU content finally, and this is probably the best start for the MCU as Phase 4. So
Yeah. Um, I know it wasn't the one that they planned on starting with,
no,
but I
no,
think it's a good. It's just a very like interesting starting point for what comes after the Infinity Saga.
yes. I mean, you mentioned like the domestication. It's right now standing at a 97. So
Right.
that's
Yeah. I think
the
critics
general
are
people.
enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah, like
I've seen mixed reaction among like fans or casual viewers.
yeah. I think if you guys we're worried about the show and like we're not impressed with the first episodes, I suggest to wait for episode 3 and 4 and really see what they're actually doing, because these first episodes just getting you into the main like course plot and characters that you're going to see throughout the series, and if am I right, these episodes are going to be much longer if they're going to continue this homage of the television era and their increased hour, so that I just have to wait. And if not, there's other Disney Plus that will come out there. It's very cool we're getting this, and then after this we're going to get Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then Black Widow if that comes out in theaters. um you know this is a great start for Phase 4, and I like how diverse and unique we're getting these Disney Plus shows.
Hmm.
So yeah, I guess and then also like episode 3 we'll probably get more idea what's going on outside. I seen a couple of the pictures that have been surfaced for next episode for Friday,
Hmm.
and we're gonna see Monica Rambeau in the the real reality of the world before she enter into the like the hub sitcom reality that she's in, and then of course we're gonna continue. We're gonna see the Wanda being pregnant and seeing the children probably either 3 or next episode 4. So just sit tight and I mean it's we don't need nothing like too big. I happy this show is very small right now and like very personal. That's I like what I like about the start.
Hmm.
So I guess to wrap up things, you have any theories for next episode? You you think there's anything uh do you think is gonna happen, or like you have any theories you want to put out right now for like what do you think is gonna happen overall for the show for the next episodes?
I'm not entirely sure, and that's kind of what I like about it.
Mm,
And I feel like um, Marvel does kind of have like a formula, and you can kind of predict where things are going. And I like the formula, which is why I keep
yes.
coming back to it. But it's nice to see something that's just so totally different from everything they've done. Um, yeah,
And by the way, they have films that were very unpredictable and unexpected. Like Iron Man 3, I wasn't expecting the magic twist.
yeah.
And Winter Soldier, we didn't expect the Hydra twist.
Hmm.
Um, Red Skull coming back, Infinity War. So they have been doing that. It's just few films, or like Vulture and Spider-Man: Homecoming. Her being him being Liz's father. They're just like far and in between. And I think this show, it's just like we're not doing any like expanding universe, which I'm happy about, because that was the big problem with Captain Marvel and Spider-Man: Far From Home for me. Anyway, that's in my opinion. So I'm just happy it's like a single piece and not for like the wider MCU.
Hmm. Yeah, it
So
can stand on its own, which is nice.
exactly. So yeah. So folks, thank you, Will, for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having
Yeah.
me.
So as folks, as you know, we want to make this spoiler talk as a like a weekend weekly thing. So you can expect this Zoom calls, this podcast for every Sunday. Uh, you know, for now, we don't know if anything will come up. So I'll let you know in the Facebook Moment Plus group. And thanks, Will, for coming back. And honestly, we did mention on the other channel that we still had to do the Thor Dark World uh, talk,
Right. Yeah,
and
yeah.
so maybe we'll do that maybe in February
Sure,
after the
yeah.
shows is done, because I want to keep I wanted to do the sequels to lead up to the Black Widow release.
Yeah.
So yeah. So thank you everyone for listening to this podcast. This is Andreas Diaz, and of course this is Will Allen. So and yeah, and expect for episode 3, Marvel Plus Photo Talk. We'll notify you guys if anything changes. So thank you guys. Subscribe, hit that like button, and have a good day.